The year 2026 brings one of the most significant waves of regulatory updates adopted by the International Maritime Organization in recent years. These changes affect safety, environmental protection, cargo operations, ship construction, fuel quality, fire protection systems, and even seafarer training. In this video, we will walk through all major IMO requirements entering into force in 2026 and beyond, explaining what they mean for ship owners, operators, managers, and seafarers. We begin with a major environmental and safety change under SOLAS Chapter 2 and the High-Speed Craft Codes. The prohibition of firefighting foams containing PFOS, or perfluorooctane sulfonic acid. From the 1 January 2026, ships constructed on or after that date must not use or store fire-extinguishing media containing PFOS above 0.001% by weight. For ships built before that date, compliance must be achieved no later than the first scheduled safety equipment survey after January 1, 2026. This means ship owners must verify the chemical composition of onboard foam stocks, obtain manufacturer declarations or laboratory test reports, and where necessary, remove and dispose of non-compliant foam at approved shore reception facilities. Tanks must be cleaned, residues removed, and replacement media properly approved and certificated. Documentation will be critical, and verification will form part of the survey process. SOLAS Chapter 2.1 introduces entirely new safety requirements for lifting appliances and anchor handling winches. These provisions enter into force on January 1, 2026, and aim to enhance personnel safety and prevent accidents related to lifting operations. For lifting appliances installed on or after this date, design, construction, installation, load testing, marking of safe working load, and documentation must comply with recognized organization requirements. Existing lifting appliances must be tested and thoroughly examined no later than the first Safety Construction Renewal Survey, after January 1, 2026. There are also newly adopted guidelines detailing inspection, operation, maintenance, and testing regimes. Anchor handling winches are similarly regulated with design and testing requirements based on new IMO guidelines. Operators must plan surveys and documentation updates carefully to ensure compliance. Another important change affects container ships and bulk carriers of 3,000 gross tonnage and above. Ships constructed on or after 1 January 2026 must carry electronic inclinometers. These devices must be connected to the voyage data recorder so that rolling motion can be reconstructed during playback. This enhances casualty investigation capability and operational awareness. Additionally, the Cargo Ship Safety Equipment Certificate format has been revised to include a new entry for container ships, and updated certificates will be issued at the first relevant survey after implementation. Looking ahead to life-saving appliances, amendments to the LSA code introduce new ventilation requirements for totally enclosed lifeboats installed on or after January 1, 2029. These lifeboats must provide a ventilation rate of at least 5 cubic meters per hour per person for 24 hours. The system must be operable from inside the lifeboat. If powered, it cannot rely on radio batteries, and if dependent on the lifeboat engine, sufficient fuel must be available. Furthermore, annual thorough examination and operational testing of the ventilation system will become mandatory. Fuel safety is also strengthened under amendments to SOLAS TI 2 regarding oil fuel flashpoint requirements. From 1 January 2026, oil fuel suppliers must provide a signed declaration before bunkering confirming compliance with the minimum 60 degrees Celsius flashpoint requirement and stating the test method used. The bunker delivery note must also record the measured flashpoint or confirm that it is at least 70 degrees Celsius. Ship owners and operators must ensure proper documentation is obtained before and after bunkering, reinforcing fuel quality control and fire risk mitigation. Under the IGC code, high manganese austenitic steel is now permitted for cryogenic service. This material may be used for cargo tanks, secondary barriers, and pressure vessels, provided it meets specified circular requirements. Similar amendments under the IGF code allow the same material for fuel containment and piping systems on ships using low flashpoint fuels. These changes provide more flexibility in ship construction materials while maintaining safety standards. Fire safety on ro-ro passenger ships sees significant enhancements. Amendments to SOLAS 2 TRECH 2 Regulation 20 expand the definition of ro-ro spaces to include open and closed ro-ro spaces and weather decks used for vehicles. New requirements include fixed water-based fire extinguishing systems for weather decks, linear heat detection systems tested under normal ventilation conditions, comprehensive video monitoring systems capable of immediate playback, improved arrangement of openings, and new signage and markings. Existing ships must retrofit certain systems, including water-based extinguishing systems on weather decks, by specified survey deadlines, in some cases by 2020. The IGF code is further amended to require at least one additional portable dry powder fire extinguisher of at least 5 kilograms in fuel preparation rooms. Existing ships must comply no later than their first scheduled survey after January 1, 2026. This extinguisher must be reflected in the ship's fire control plan. For bulk cargo operations, the IMSBC code amendments become mandatory on January 2027, with voluntary early application allowed from 2026. The amendments include updated terminology, revised separation requirements, removal of outdated references, and new cargo schedules. Several new cargoes are added, including aluminium sulfate granular, apatite concentrate, asphalt granulates, iron ore briquettes, pea protein concentrate pellets, phosphate rock fines, tuff, zinc slag, and others. A revised circular also updates the list of cargoes for which fixed gas fire extinguishing systems may be exempted or deemed ineffective. Similarly, amendments to the IMDG code enter into force on January 2026, with voluntary early application from 2025. Updates include revised segregation rules for alcoholates, clarifications regarding carbon substances such as charcoal, new provisions for medical waste, and adjustments to mandatory language and footnotes. These operational changes affect documentation, stowage, and segregation practices for dangerous goods. The grain code introduces a new loading condition, described as a specially suitable compartment partly filled in way of the hatch opening, with ends untrimmed. Ships intending to use this new loading condition after January 1, 2026 must update and reapprove their grain loading stability manuals or prepare an approved addendum before carrying grain under the new condition. Amendments to the ESP code clarify that approval and certification of thickness measurement firms may be undertaken either by recognized organizations or directly by the Flag Administration. This enters into force on January 2026. Under the Performance Standards for Protective Coatings, a minor but important administrative change reflects the renaming of NACE International to the Association for Materials Protection and Performance. Inspector qualifications will now reference the new AMPP certification title. Significant amendments are made to the IGC code regarding the use of toxic cargoes as fuel. From 1 July 2026, the prohibition on using cargo as fuel applies only to toxic cargoes carried in Type 1G ships. Toxic cargoes carried on Type 2G or 2PG ships, such as ammonia, may be used as fuel with Flag Administration approval, provided equivalent safety to natural gas is maintained. Early voluntary implementation is permitted. Environmental control areas are expanded under MARPOL Annex 6. The Norwegian Sea and Canadian Arctic are designated as new NOx emission control areas. Tier 3 NOx requirements will apply to certain new ships depending on keel laying, contract, and delivery dates beginning in 2025 and 2026. Additionally, these same areas become SOx emission control areas from the 1st March 2027, limiting fuel sulfur content to 0.10% while operating within the zones. SOLAS. Chapter 5 introduces mandatory reporting of containers lost at sea from January 2026. Masters, companies, and flag administrations will have defined responsibilities to report losses or sightings of containers. This improves navigational safety and environmental response. Finally, a very important human element development comes under the STCW code. From the 1st January 2026, all seafarers must receive updated training on prevention of and response to violence and harassment, including sexual harassment, bullying, and assault. This new competence is incorporated into basic safety training under personal safety and social responsibilities. Seafarers must complete the revised course and upgrade their certificates accordingly. Companies must also review their safety management systems to include policies and procedures addressing violence and harassment prevention and response. Finally, a very important human element development comes under the STCW code. From the 1st January 2026, all seafarers must receive updated training on prevention of and response to violence and harassment, including sexual harassment, bullying, and assault. This new competence is incorporated into basic safety training under personal safety and social responsibilities. Seafarers must complete the revised course and upgrade their certificates accordingly. Companies must also review their safety management systems to include policies and procedures addressing violence and harassment prevention and response. These changes reinforce the IMO's continued focus on safety, environmental protection, technological advancement, and the welfare of seafarers worldwide.